Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. What's going on? Welcome again to another episode of the Get Your Shift Together Men's Podcast. I have been going live um, for a good minute now, helping men to win in what matters as we prepare and get ready for this upcoming conference that's happening in Atlanta, Georgia on April 5 and 6. If my brother, you have not gotten a spot yet, I want to encourage you to be there and be with us and be with a bunch of other hungry men who want to have complete success, holistic success, and not be one trick ponies. Right? We want brothers who want to win in every area that matters the most. And so, anyway, welcome to the morning podcast. Just give you some information about the conference as we're getting geared up for it. We got 2 weeks left to the conference, actually 15 days to the conference. So I'm just going to share this info with you real quick so that you can have it. I want to encourage you to go to our website right now if you're anywhere near the Atlanta area, or if you love to travel, meet us in Atlanta, Georgia, April 5 and 6. We'll be at the Perimeter Marriott. I've got a special $100 off discount for you if you're going to join us. Before I get my podcast material, it is Win 100. Scrolling at the bottom of the screen, Win 100. Scrolling at the bottom of the screen, use that coupon code, get $100 off your registration because you listened to this podcast this morning. And I look forward to meeting you. I look forward to getting to know you and helping you, like the rest of us, we're going to be at this conference to win in what matters. All right, listen. Today's subject is based upon something that I saw yesterday. Now, for those of you who don't know, I am a big LeBron James fan. All right, I'm living here in Cleveland, Ohio. I was here for most of LeBron's career here. And obviously, I got a chance to experience one of Cleveland, Ohio's greatest moments in sports when the 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers came back down 3-1 on the 72-73 and 9, 72 and 9, I can't remember, Golden State Warriors to win the finals championship. I was here. I love LeBron. Honestly, and one of the reasons why I like LeBron, and I've said this before, is because LeBron appears to, I'm talking outside of basketball, he appears to be a good guy, right? A good guy. Different athlete than some of the old athletes that I came up watching, like Jordan, some of these others. Many of these guys, they were successful on the basketball court, but, their families suffered because of it. A lot of those guys that I looked up to back in the day, they're on wife number 3 and, kids, estranged from their children, things of that nature. And so because of what I teach and what I believe, I feel like LeBron, Steph Curry, and I'm sure that there are others, other athletes out there who are starting, who I believe who are leading a different pathway for athletes who are well-rounded in terms of what they present. And I don't know these men personally, but what they present in terms of their family life. And it appears like, the likes of Steph Curry, LeBron, Russell Westbrook, others, these guys, despite the busyness of their career, are trying to be intentional. And that's the word, are seeking to be intentional about family, right? And about other aspects of their life, business, and so forth and so on. So I've celebrated these guys. I've celebrated their desire to chart a different course, and to stick in there with their wives. I know Westbrook and LeBron and Steph Curry, they all are still with the women that they were with before they had money, And I know in the Black community, I got to keep it real. It's like in the Black community, it's like, the First Wives Club, sometimes, man, they get axed, when the money comes in. And I know it's more complicated than that, but I'm just saying, just tongue in cheek, what I'm saying? So, like my wife, she said she team First Wives Club, So those of you who've been married multiple times, this ain't no shade to you. But when an athlete achieves greatness on that level, and they're still married to their original girlfriend, you know, your children, they seem like they love each other. The family seems happy. You just don't see that very often. You know what I'm saying? You just don't see that very often. And so it needs to be celebrated. And so LeBron James, Steph Curry, Russell Westbrook, I'm sure there are others. Man, I love to see those guys. Even Jason Tatum, he always has his son with him everywhere, every game. His son is always with him, traveling with him on the road. Like, we need to celebrate those guys because that is something, that we don't see a lot of. It's not just in sports, in life, period. My wife literally said to me that I was Clark Kent at home and Superman at the church. As a pastor, I spent a lot of time away from home thinking that that was the right thing to do. If I was going to be a successful pastor, great speaker, great orator, great leader, great community leader, that I had to sacrifice time with my family in order to be great. And I operated under that mindset, and I paid for it dearly, which is one of the reasons why I started this whole platform to help men to win in the things that matter, because my whole story was that way of living, chasing greatness and success at the expense of my health, at the expense of my spiritual life, at the expense of my family. Honestly, I feel like that's not success. And I believe that I have achieved various levels of success. I would even go so far as to say I feel like I'm great. I'm pretty darn good at what I do, and I don't say that with any apology whatsoever. I know what I'm doing, and I feel like I'm good at it. But I will tell you that that mindset that I had, that almost cost me my marriage, that almost cost me my relationship with my children, that had me addicted to pornography, always full of anxiety and stress, and honestly, real talk, many times disconnected from God. I ain't feeling that. And I'm on a mission to help brothers to understand that you can win and be successful holistically. And that's really what success is. That success should not be seen as this narrow view that you're good at your job. Like, no, we need to stop calling people successful, right, and great, because they are a one-trick pony. They're good at one thing. They're good at their career. They're brilliant. I'll give you a case in point. I'm listening to Elon Musk being interviewed the other day, and I'm literally like, we give people a pass because they're rich. If somebody is rich or they've achieved some level of success, we almost associate that level of success, with nobility, with wisdom, with character almost. Like they got something that we don't got. Bro, I don't want to be Elon Musk. I don't want to have lost my family. I don't want to be Jeff Bezos. We want their money, but do we want the process that it took for them to get to where they are? And I know a lot of people say, well, that's greatness. I was listening to a podcast of some guys, and they were like, look, you can't be great, and be out there being a good dad, being a good husband. And that is the way of the world. But I'm here to tell you it doesn't have to be that way. So anyway, so the question today is, can you be great or successful and be present for your family and be present for yourself? Be holistic. Can you be great and be balanced? Not lose your mind, not lose your family, not lose your marriage, die early. Can you do both? Right? And here's what I want to tell you what the Bible says. First Matthew 6:33 says, seek first the kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Matter of fact, God was like this, I don't even want you worrying about those things. He said, I don't even want you chasing greatness. Watch this. I know. I'm telling you, you got to be renewed. You have to. The Bible says in Romans 12, 1 and 2, but specifically verses 2 of Romans 12, it says, be not conformed to this world and its practices, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. The world says, chase greatness, chase success, chase money at any cost. And that is the standard of what life is all about. But we see that that's miserable. We see billionaires committing suicide. We see families falling apart. We see their kids getting hooked on drugs and getting caught up in bad behavior. We see unhappy spouses. We see all that. Why would we want that? Just because we want the bag? We think it's worth it to have a horrible life and have a bag? The word says you got to be transformed by your don't be conformed to this world, but have your mind renewed to understand that that's not God's plan for us. God's plan for us is complete abundance in every aspect of our lives. And there is, I believe, and my mission is to help men to understand that you can have abundance and prosperity and success and greatness and be a good husband and be a good father and be connected to the Lord and not compromise your values and not compromise your morals and not compromise your principles and not compromise your health and not compromise your integrity. It's you. Yes, you can. And so that's why the word says, if you seek God first, he will give you everything. You do things his way. All right. I just wanted to throw that out there. I love Psalms 1. Psalms 1 says, blessed is the man. And I got to show you this video of LeBron, what he said yesterday, because I'm tripping. I'm like, bro, I love you, LeBron, but what are you talking about? But listen to what the word says. It said, blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the way in the path of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful. Meaning a blessed man is a man who is careful about his associations and the influences on his thinking. You got to be careful who you associate with, who you see as a mentor, who you see as a standard. Verse 2, but his delight, a blessed man, is in the law of the Lord, the ways of God, God's mind, God's thoughts, God's principles. And in his law, he meditates day and night. He is governed by a different set of rules. And that's what I want to invite you all to understand. You can have abundance, but you need to have the biblical, the godly mindset, virtues, and principles so that you're not compromising all of this and live a life that ends in destruction. And he says, this blessed man, he's committed to godly principles of living. And notice what it says will happen to him. He will be like a tree planted by the rivers of waters. This is a picture of complete prosperity and stability. A tree that's planted by rivers of water is literally connected to a constant source of nourishment. Hallelujah. Y'all forgive me. I feel like I'm preaching right now. Let me calm down. That brings forth its fruit in its season. Some of you are impatient with what's happening in your life right now. It's coming in season. It's coming in season. Don't be weary in well-doing. Stick with the process. Be faithful in a few things. God will make you ruler over many. And the leaf will not wither. You will not suffer a lack. Your stuff ain't gonna fall apart just because you ain't chasing what the world is chasing. And then listen what he says. And whatever, oh man, y'all better hear this morning. Somebody need to receive this today. A brother needs to receive this today. And whatever he does shall prosper. Did you hear what I just said? So we're talking about today, for those of you who are just tuning in, do I have to sacrifice time with my family, my health, my mental health, my peace, my relationship with my children, my relationship with my wife? Can I have those things, a good, healthy, wholesome relationship, and be great? Well, the world says you can't. The world says you can't have both. You can't be present at home and present in the world and in business and in athletics and things of that nature. Says you can't. The word says if you commit to the principles of God, then you will prosper. So somebody lying. And I stand with God. I'm just telling you. The word says that if I am committed to God's principles and God's way of living, that everything I do, dad, prosper, husband, prosper, business, prosper, health, prosper, mental health, prosper, whatever I touch will prosper. Whatever I touch will prosper. How? Because I'm committed to God's principles and not worldly principles. My mind has been renewed. I'm not out here thinking that this foolishness of I got to sacrifice my family on account of wanting to be great. Now, how are you going to enjoy it if you don't got nothing but strife and no peace around you because you got the bag, but you lost everything trying to get the bag, including yourself? So, as you know, LeBron James and maybe you didn't know, but LeBron James and JJ Redick have a new podcast. It's a podcast about, sport of basketball. But anyway, I saw yesterday, I didn't get a chance to see the full podcast yet. Y'all know I'm a big LeBron James fan. I actually like JJ Redick as well. I think this is going to be a great podcast about basketball. And, again, like I said, I've really held LeBron in high regard because of how he does try to be a family man. At least what we see on social media. Now, we all know that social media don't tell the whole story. But for sure, LeBron James is in a career that does require you to not be around. But he also has the money to see to it that he can do things that maybe some of us can't do in terms of being present. He can hop on a private jet. But being an NBA player is demanding. I understand that. I get it. Yep, there are sacrifices that need to be made. I'm not saying that my wife makes sacrifices. My wife's a dentist. I made sacrifices. I'm a pastor. There's sacrifices that need to be made, but I'm going to tell you this. I am not sacrificing my family. So it's a difference between quantity and quality, right? So yes, most of us work all day, but I am going to get the most out of the time that I am with my family. You're not going to see me losing on the family joint. Well, anyway, in the interview, JJ Redick asked LeBron about discipline and about greatness. And this is LeBron's answer. And I cringed when I heard it.
When it comes to discipline, you have to sacrifice loved ones.
Hold on. Y'all hear what First of all, LeBron did not, I know he's not always the most articulate person. I have to admit that in terms of how he expresses his thoughts. The man, I don't think he meant sacrifice. Now, I know all y'all conspiracy theorists, but listen to this foolishness.
When it comes to discipline, you have to sacrifice loved ones. You have to sacrifice loved ones for a long period of time if you want to be great. It is very unfortunate. I am getting up every single day at 5 or 6 a.m. And when I get home after everyone leaves the gym, I'm going to take a nap. So now you're sacrificing your loved ones because you're not spending time with them. And when I wake up, I'm probably going to train again. And then I'm going to have dinner. And then I'm going to bed. And I'm going to do that every single day for a long period of time. That's sacrificing and discipline. And for me, I was 18 when I came into the league. I got my best friends from high school that's now in college. And they're calling me, telling me, you got to come down to these parties. You're not going to college. You're never going to be in college. And I couldn't do it. I look back on it now. I wish I would have done a few of them. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. I wish I did.
Okay. I understand what LeBron is. I knew somebody was going to say like Illuminati. So I think LeBron just didn't articulate himself very well. What I think LeBron was trying to say is that if you're going to be great, there are sacrifices that you must make. And one of those sacrifices is time with your family, time with your friends. So let me pause and say this. I understand what he's saying. I don't disagree with what he's saying. And he ain't the first person to have shown that. Many of us grew up in households where our parents worked all day long, some of them 2 and 3 jobs, just so that we could have food on the table, just so that we could have clothes on our backs. No doubt about it. However, I want to come against this notion that you cannot be a good husband or father and be great. Because that is an underlying assumption that can come out of a statement that LeBron makes. So I've told you I'm not for quantity time because it's unrealistic. But when you are with your family, are you present? What sacrifices do you make? I saw LeBron James actually sacrifice being at a game, the Los Angeles Lakers. He skipped a game to be at his son's game for USC. That's good fathering, LeBron. LeBron, I feel you, bro, but you just didn't say it right. But there are a lot of people, Michael Jordan, others, I don't know. I'm not sure what Kobe Bryant's like, but he was very maniacal about his training and so forth. But there is this message that's often said that if you're going to be Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Steph Curry, if you're going to be any of those guys, you can't be a family man. Not for real. And most of the guys that have ascended to the top have lost, their families. I mean, look at MJ. I mean, like, guys, I'm sorry. And I'm going to say this, if it requires of me to lose the things that are most important to me, because the most important things to me in life are not things, or my relationships. If chasing the bag means I've got to lose Shanae and Camden and Taylor, bump the bag. But I actually believe, according to the word of God, I'm governed by a different set of principles. My mind has been renewed. It's not conformed to this world. My mind's been transformed by the renewing of my mind. And I've come to understand that if I seek first God's kingdom and his righteousness, and I live a life of priorities, everything I want to be added. Because I realize whatever I get in life, yes, some of it is as a result of diligence and hard work and discipline, but none of that would even come to me because it's God that gives me the power to get wealth and abundance and prosperity. I'm not going to diss God when he's giving me a wife and children on account of my career. And there's a lot of us out there that are sacrificing our souls and people we love on the altar of greatness. And it's a lie. You can be great and you can be a good dad. You can be great and you can be a good husband. You can be great and be a man of integrity. You can be great and be healthy. You can. And we got to stop selling it. It just sounds good. I think it sounds good on social media. Yeah, you got to grind. You got to grind. You got to go out here. Sometimes you got to get up 5 a.m. in the morning. I get up at 5 a.m. in the morning. But I go to bed early too. And I make sure we have a date night every week with my wife. And I make sure that I'm connected with my children. I'm not playing with this thing. I'm not going to suck at home and then be great out in the streets. What that look like? And then call that success? It ain't. So, Brian, I know you tried to explain that, but bro, I don't know if you said that the way you should have said it. And then I love this comment that somebody made when LeBron said he have to sacrifice. He tried it. But let me make this a little bit bigger. Listen to this comment that somebody made, and I totally agree with it. He said he and Kobe already had wives and continue to have children and are both active dads in their children's lives. Yes, they both make time for their families and loved ones. Thank you. Doing things like that as a man. Now, I love this. I don't know who True Blonde is, but great, powerful. Doing things like that as a man also enables you to operate on the highest level. Oh, snap. Listen. Oh, dude, I don't know who this sister is, but that sentence right there. Woo-wee. What she's saying is what God has been trying to renew our minds to understand as men. That when you are operating at a high level as a husband, when you are operating at a high level as a father, when you're operating at a high level as a man of integrity, when you are a man that trusts in the Lord with all your heart and leans not to his own understanding, when you're a man that seeks first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, when you're a man that's committed to his word both day and night, when you are committed to family, guess what? It enables you to operate at the highest levels. Now, I'm about to blow y'all mind right here. As great as some of these folks that we call great, let's call Jordan. I'll use Jordan. And Jordan seems like he sacrificed his family for greatness, whatever. I don't really know these people. I hate even making these statements. But let's look at Elon Musk and let's look at Bezos and all these people. Bill Gates. Let's look at them. Here's what I'm arguing and what I think this sister is saying. I think what she's saying, and let me make this a little bit bigger so you can see it again. This is in response to LeBron's statement, you got to sacrifice family. I think he was saying sacrifice time. But what way it came across, it made it sound like you can't be a good dad and be great. Can't be a great husband and be great. But look what she said. She says, doing things like that as a man, being there for your family, being holistic, understanding work-life balance, enables you to operate on the highest level. You know why? Because the highest level is not about you and what you're doing to get there. The highest level is when God sees your faithfulness in a few things. God sees your faithfulness in your family, in your household, in your relationship with him. And he says, now I'm going to make you ruler over many. Can I blow your mind for a second? It's possible to think that even as quote unquote great as many of these people are, they could have been greater. They could have been greater. Whoa, whoa. They could have been greater. I love what this lady says. I love that. And there's this article, and I gotta hop off, but I gotta share this with you. For those of you who are geeks and you want to learn more about this stuff, the research is bearing this out, that there is a connection between success in the workplace and success at home. And Harvard, the Harvard Business Review, printed an article for a few years ago entitled "The Making of a Corporate Athlete," and the whole point of it was this. Let me just read this. Let me get my screen together for you guys. So it says, on the playing field, that's like sports, or in the boardroom, corporate life, typical job, high performance, watch this, depends as much on how people renew and recover energy as opposed to how they expend it, on how they manage their lives as much as how they manage their work. So they're starting to see there's a connection between how you're managing your personal life and how you show up for your job. But if you are somebody whose mind has been renewed, according to Romans 12:2, and you're not conformed to this world, but you're transformed by the renewing of your mind, you understand this. And then watch what it says here. It says, when people feel strong and resilient, physically, mentally, I love this. Harvard, y'all, emotionally and spiritually, that sounds like the shift framework. That sounds like what I came up with, the shift framework. Being strong, winning spiritually, in your health, in your integrity, in your family, in the community. It says when people feel strong in those areas, they perform better. When home is right, you perform better at work. They perform with more passion for longer. They win. Their families win, and the corporations that employ them win. So even in corporate America, they're starting to realize now that there is some emotional intelligence that is now. We just don't want brainiacs who scored a 32 on their ACT. We want people who have balanced lives, because we realize that it is a liability to us that we may have to pay out for foolishness that happens in people's personal lives. And so they have this corporate ladder or the highest level of what makes a person effective at work. And at the top, so they have physical capacity, emotional capacity, mental, but at the top, spiritual capacity. The more spiritually in tune and connected a person is, the better they perform on their jobs, which is to say, it's the idea of shalom, wholeness. God says, I want you to prosper and be in health. That's shalom, even as your soul prospers. When you are whole, prosper, at peace with your life, at peace with your wife, at peace with your children, at peace with yourself, because you know that you're sticking by your principles, your virtues, your values, your standards. Then you can show up to work and kill it with less, and be at work with less time than the rest of these jokers. And I'm telling you what that is. That's God. So what is greatness? Well, if you are biblically based and principled, your mind has been renewed, and you're not caught up in the construct of this world that all it does is based on a capitalistic society of greed, but it spits up and chews out families. Then you understand that greatness, according to Christ, is being a servant. Greatness is not about money and popularity. Get your mind renewed. So as I serve my wife and serve my children and serve my parents, and serve my community, and I'm healthy in my mind, I'm healthy in my body, I'm healthy in my spirit, and I'm a servant, and it's not about me, I'm great. Got to get our minds renewed. We listen, stop listening to people on social media talking about grind, and you can't got to sacrifice your family. Stop that. Stop listening to that crap. It's crap. And stop looking at people's cars and their houses. Stop looking at that fake stuff. You live in a real world life that's not on social media, at home, and ain't nothing like peace. Proverbs 16:7. When a man's ways please the Lord, he makes even the man's enemies that live with peace with him. Look, bro, I'm telling you right now, I ain't losing. So I want you all to get your shift together. This idea that you can't be great and you can't be a good husband, you can't be great and be a good father. Well, listen, whatever your definition of greatness is, then I don't want that if I'm going to lose my wife. I don't want that if I'm going to lose my children. I don't want to get to the top if I'm at the top and I'm by my dang on self. Stop it. Stop letting the world tell you what greatness is. I tell you what it is. It's the defiance of mediocrity in every area of your life. That's what integrity is. And some of you have compromised your integrity, compromised it, chasing the freaking bag. Screw the bag if I lose Shanae. Screw the bag if I lose Taylor. Screw the bag if I lose Camden. Screw it. I want to say something else, but I can't. I ain't losing them. And I'm not losing my mind, my way, myself, my health. This is just kind of crap that I was doing as a pastor. And here I am as a religious man. And on my wife, and almost lost my marriage and raising my children and addicted to pornography. But my name was great. It's not greatness. It's a lie. Look, God bless y'all. I got to get out of here. I got to meet somebody for breakfast this morning, and I'm already late. But I want to encourage you. This is the type of stuff you're going to hear and the information you're going to get when you come to the Winning Circle Conference that's happening in Atlanta, Georgia, April 5 and 6. Brothers, if you watch this podcast this morning, even sisters, if you have husbands or sons or whatever, men in your life, you want them to be there, be with me, be with my team, to help these brothers to figure out how to win in what matters with a great conflagration. That's a big word of brothers who speak on this stuff and change lives. Then get that coupon code. I'm giving you $100 off. If you listen to this podcast, go to the website, winningscircleconference.com. Use the coupon code WIN100, and I'll see you in Atlanta. See you in Atlanta. Peace, y'all. Have a good day.